Hello, everybody. It's Friday live time. Fiona Lukeis here, coming to you live from Facebook and YouTube. I know my camera's a bit funny. There we go. Is that a bit better? Yeah, that's a bit better. Coming to you live from Facebook and YouTube on this Friday, the 31st of January. I cannot believe it's the end of January, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful summer's day here in Melbourne, like perfect. There's no wind, it's warm, it's just gorgeous. I've got my air conditioning on and the blinds down on my office, which my husband put up for me over the break. Bless that man, he's very handy. It's always handy to have a partner who's handy and can do stuff like that. So I'm sitting here nice and cool, and I've just had a session with a client this morning. He's just come to my office, and so that was great. And so here I am hanging out with you guys. Hi, Nathan. Hello. Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. And anyone else who wants to say hi, I would certainly, I'd certainly appreciate it. I've got some exciting news today. I've got some locked-in dates with my book. Those of you who know, I've written a book. It's called Funny Little Human: Transform the Way You See Yourself and the Ones You Love. So it's going to be published very soon. So I'm going to reveal the cover today because I'm very, very excited about the cover. It's all locked in place, just waiting for the proofs to come, which I thought might have been this week, but it'll definitely be next week. But Funny Little Human is definitely launching on Thursday, February 27. So that is the official launch date. There'll be lots of me posting about that and all of those things, and you'll be able to purchase it via Amazon at that point. So I'm very, very excited about that. I've also put a wait list together for those of you who want to get earlier access, and there's some cool bonuses involved with that. So I'll share the link for you when that's ready. I've redone my whole website to support the launch of this. So that was meant to go live this week. My developers told me it will be live today. So I'll make a big announcement with that because I'm really excited about that too. And there's been lots of work has gone into that. Lots. Some of these things just behind the scenes, some of the stuff that you do behind the scenes is huge for things like this. So the next thing I've got to do is record the audio. So I've got to spend some time in a recording studio and record the audio version of the book. So you'll be able to buy it on Audible and Amazon. So very exciting. Thank you, Nathan. You're so supportive, darling. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you. I so appreciate that. I so appreciate you. I really, really do. So anyway, now I know last week there was a bit of an issue with the camera, all sorted this week, woohoo! And hopefully we won't have that issue again moving forward. So obviously, for those of you who are new to my work, I do a live here every Friday on Facebook and YouTube, answering any questions that you have about life, relationships, stuff, whatever's going on, right? This is my opportunity to be of service wherever I can. And so if you have a question that you want me to answer, pop it in the comments below. Anyone who's live will get their question answered. And I answer questions in order of receiving them. All right. So I think I should be up to date by the end of today. So if you've got a question you want me to answer, just send it through to hello@fionalukeis.com.au. Just mark it Friday Live Q&A, and I will, or my assistant will put it in the list for the next week when I go live. All right. But if you do have a question, pop it in the comments, and I will do my absolute best to answer it for you. And of course, if you've just joined live, and I can see some people are just coming on, please feel free to let me know where you're listening from and say hi. All right, so just pulling up the list of questions for today. Okay. All right. Here we go. Hi, Fiona. I have a question about my 13-year-old 6.5 foot. Wow, that's a tall 13-year-old. Wow, 6.5 foot man child that's very mature and finding it really hard. I don't know how or know what the right thing to do is to navigate this change of having a new teenager. He never wants to do anything except for staying at home and playing his PS5. He doesn't want to join in family things and prefers to stay home. I would like him to join us and feel bad that he just stays in the house all day and doesn't want to go out. I've tried being curious about his reasons, but the answer is just because. I don't want to force him, as that will damage what's left of the goodwill between us, with which I've had to rebuild with him. He also seems entitled and not shy to say no on things I want him to do, like sleep in his own room that he shares with his 10-year-old brother, or clean up after himself. Okay. He also bullies the 10-year-old twins by not being fair or just speaking rudely to them. Any suggestions? I think, look, having raised 3 teenage boys, okay, I've raised 3 teenage boys, and I don't say that to big note myself, other than to say I've learned a thing or two. I'm not going to say I'm the ultimate expert, but having raised 3 teenage boys, I have learned a thing or two about boys and teenagers. Hi, Dan. Thanks for saying hi. You're in Seattle. I love Seattle. I do love Seattle. It's a very lovely part of the US. It's just a gorgeous, stunningly beautiful part of the world. Thanks for saying hi. So we're talking about teenagers, and I will say it's really good for your teenager to have chores, things that they're responsible for, that they're in charge of. So, and that you're uncompromising about those things. So, for example, taking the bins out, that has been my 19-year-old son's job since he was about 8. That's his job. Takes the rubbish bins out on Monday nights. I can't say that it's been an easy thing. Most weeks we've had to remind him. He leaves it till 10 o'clock at night. Wants to do it in his own time. But it's been this thing that we're uncompromising on. You must take the bins out. There's a couple of other things that we're uncompromising on in terms of him just having responsibilities and things that he needs to take care of. So we make sure that those things are done, because they need to get a sense of contribution and knowing that they have something of value to contribute to the family. So there's that aspect. Then there's the aspect I want to say, and this is a very generalized comment. I know it doesn't apply to everybody. My sister has her eldest son. This does not apply to him at all. But, there is a period of time where boys especially go through what I call the wilderness years. And it tends to start around 13, 14 to around 16, sometimes 17, where they grunt. They don't say much. You ask them a question, you'll get one-word answers. My boys went through a period where I would get a text that would literally, so instead of thank you, it would be TY. I would say, how are you? I'd get the letter K, just the K, not OKAY, just K. Like, you feel like they're doing the bare minimum, okay? And I always say to people, you need to have a lot of thick skins when you're dealing with a teenager, because they go through that stage where they're very self-indulged and involved, and life is all about them. And I don't say that to put anyone down. It just is what it is. It's kind of like, I think people sort of reconcile the teenage years with that 2 to 5, where a child is very self-involved at 2 to 3, and that's when they're learning to say no, and their temper tantrums increase and all those sorts of things. So they sort of reconcile those 13, 14, 15. It's a similar age to when we're 2. We just go straight into that very, very self-indulged mode. So patience, calm, not taking it personally. And I think as well, not being afraid to put a boundary in place. You are not going to lose your boy. You're not going to lose your son. He may not like it, but that doesn't mean you're going to lose him. I think a lot of parents are frightened to put boundaries in place or consequences to actions, right? Consequences to actions. I learned my eldest was addicted to the PlayStation, and we would have these things which would drive me crazy. I'd say it's dinner time, and he'd say, well, I'm playing a game, because I'd let him be on the PS5 between, say, 5 and 7. And he'd say, I'm in the middle of a game. I go, I don't know why you started the game when you know that I serve dinner at this time, or it's close to dinner time. He goes, well, I'm going to lose. And I would just go and turn the internet off. I go, I'm not even discussing it. The internet's off. He'd have a bit of a meltdown, but he'd come out and have dinner. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing this back and forth. If you ever want anyone, hot tip, if you're calling kids for dinner and no one's responding because they're on phones or electronics, just turn the internet off. they'll come up looking for you going, Mum, the internet's off, and you can sit them down at the meal table. You just have to look for creative ways to get through sometimes, okay? And I think it's important that you have boundaries in place with your son. But a lot of parents don't do it, especially, and I know in this case, this lady's is separated from dad. And so sometimes they go back to their dad, and you're worried that they're going to prefer one parent over another. And I think it's really important to understand you can't parent from a place of fear. You can't parent from a place of guilt. It's not your job to be your child's best friend all the time. It's your job to raise a child that is not only independent, but interdependent. Okay, so independent is where they can take care of things themselves and they can cook for themselves and take care of themselves. But interdependency is where they actually can see themselves and then others, right? So they're aware of where they are around others and how others are around them. So there are things that we need to that is our role, our job to teach our children. And you can't do that without kind of just boundaries, consequences, and then being prepared to follow through on those consequences. So, for example, if you continue to tease the twins, I will turn off the internet for the next 2 hours, okay? And then you have to be prepared to do that. So this is where you save screaming, yelling, thing is escalating like that. You can just quietly go, okay, well, I spelled it out, I made it really clear, and the internet's gone off. You can also sit down and have family meetings and say, okay, I want some help and some contribution around here. Who's prepared to take on what chores? And you get everyone to agree. I used to put a list up, and I put my son's name and go, you're in charge of this, you're in charge of this. And these are the consequences if those things don't happen. So maybe they were getting pocket money. I went through a stage where they would get $1 deducted off their pocket money for the stuff that they didn't do. It's not my job to remind them. It's not my job. They're old enough now to have the initiative and do those things, right? So I guess what I would be saying to you, honey, is don't be frightened about damaging your relationship. You don't need to scream and you don't need to shame. Okay, that's a big mistake that parents make. They're going to shaming, blaming mode. It's just being really clear. Okay, this is what I need. These are the rules. This is what we're doing. I need you to come and help me set the table, or you can unpack the dishwasher, or you can do the dishes. And if they walk away and they don't do them, then there's just a clear consequence that gets implemented immediately without any screaming and yelling. And, it's amazing when you are consistent, and I do believe consistency and boundaries are very important, especially to boys. When you're consistently loving like that, because it shows that you care, it shows that you're aware, it shows that you're present, you'd be amazed at how they will start to listen and respect that. But you can't have a 13-year-old running the show, right? Because they start running the show now as that just gets harder and more difficult as they get older, all right? So you can sit down and say, like, we talk to each other with respect in this house, okay? Bullying is not allowed. These are some of the house rules we've got going on. We don't bully others. We take care of our siblings. We treat each other with respect. We help each other. We are a team in this family. And you make those rules really clear. There's nothing wrong with writing them up on the wall and sticking them there. I'm not saying your teenager is going to read them and go, but it's a referral point, right? It's something you can refer back to. And you just need to have clear boundaries, right? It's not okay for him to come home and just game every night and every day. It's not good for him. It doesn't, do you know what I mean? He can't see that. At his age, what's wrong with it? I should be able to do it whatever I want, right? It's for you to have that clear vision and what the boundaries are and the rules are. And then you have to be prepared to stick to them. Again, you don't need to yell and scream, but you just have to have clear consequences. It might be if he's got a phone that, he loses the phone for an hour or two, or I don't know, right? You need to look at what's going to work for you. But don't parent from a place of fear and guilt. You will not lose your son. Okay, it'll feel like it at times as you go through the wilderness years and you get a grunt and you get a Nathan's going, lol, I have teen boys also. Yep, bruh, TY, YW, cringe. Yeah, get all of that, right? Where it's like, this is why you've got to have a sense of humor, right? I used to find it hilarious where I would ask my son, how was his day or what's going on? And sometimes he'd look at me and go, like as if to say, do I even need to open my mouth, right? Okay, but you know what I learned with each one of my boys is that there was always a time when they would come looking for me and they wanted to talk. So with my second eldest, Saturday basketball was the time I would make sure I always either umpired the games. I was at every game. I was available, and I would drive in there and back, and we'd go have a coffee afterwards, and we would always talk. That would be our time where we would talk. So I might get nothing during the week other than a brief hello. Where's my PE uniform or sports uniform? For those of you, PE is what we call it here, sports uniform. Where's my whatever? Or can I have some money? And then on Saturdays, I knew that was time. So you can connect with your kids. I would always make sure I would touch my boys. Does that make sense? Like, I'd always find a way to ruffle their hair, brush my hand on their shoulder, just make physical contact so that they knew I was around, and they knew that they could call me and contact me at any time if they needed something. But I also made sure that there were rules and clear things in place. Okay? Does that make sense? It's very, very important. So you can't parent from a place of fear. You will not lose your boy. You need to have some faith and trust in that. It may feel like that for a while, but they do come back. My elder boys are in their 20s now, and, we have a really great relationship. It certainly got challenging at times over those teenage years, but they do come back, and they do understand. They do appreciate you putting those things in place, because as they get a bit older and a little bit more aware of life outside of themselves, they see that you were doing things because you love them and for their greater good. And I think as parents, we have to be prepared to be okay with our children being angry with us or upset with us or all of those things. Okay. And just see that as a temporary thing, and know that your job as a parent is a bigger picture than just that moment. All right. So I really hope that helps. And the other thing is, nothing is personal. Don't take it personally. Even if they don't want to talk to you, if they don't want to hang out with you, if they don't want to do anything with you, it's not personal. Okay. I know it really feels that way, but it really helps not to take it personally. You just see it as part of the stage of life they're going through. Anyway, I hope that helps. I really, really do. Hi, Penny. Hi, Diane. Hi, nice to see you guys. Thanks for jumping on. And I'll move on to the next question. So does that make sense? Anyone have any questions around what I just said? Is that helpful to you? Send me a heart or a thumbs up or something if it was. It really helps me get some feedback. And hang on, I'm just looking at. Yes, Nathan, yes. Talking to them in a powerful, calm, matter-of-fact, respectful and loving way works well for you. I talk to them mostly like adults and offer them choices. Yeah, they can make a choice they won't like, the consequences for if they want to. Generally, once they understand that the consequences will actually happen. Yeah, this is really important. You have to follow through on what you say. So don't make huge things. Like, a lot of parents say things when they're angry, right? You're grounded for a month, or and that's probably not going to be enforceable, and a month is too long anyway. You know what I mean? Because after a while, they don't understand why they're grounded, and it's so far removed from what's happened. It needs to be an instant, quick thing that they feel quickly. Generally, they understand the consequences. Yeah, will actually happen if they choose that path. They choose the path that doesn't require consequences. Yeah, that's right. So it is a matter of you holding fast and loving your children through this, right? So you've got to love them more than them being angry with you. Does that make sense? You got to love them, because you're like, I'm working on a bigger picture here. I'm working on the person you're becoming, rather than worrying about whether you love me right now, because I've got a bigger picture. And as a parent, you need to be looking at things through a bigger picture, right? What are we moving towards here? How do you want your child to, what kind of values do you want your child to have? What do you want your child to see as important? Do you know what I mean? And so you've got to always be working and remembering that, and have that bigger picture in mind. That helps you in those really challenging moments where they push back, especially as they hit 13, 14, 15, 16. So awesome. Thanks for that, Nathan. Hi, Jane. Thanks for saying hi. Love it. Thank you, honey. Okay, so coming back to the next question here for today. All right. Hi, Fiona. I love listening to your work and have learned a great deal from your wise words and advice. I've been able to make many changes, especially being able to get over myself. Everything in my marriage has improved as a result. Awesome. And lifted our love and relationship to a whole new level. Isn't it amazing? Truly, just that simple thing of being able to get over yourself, what that does to your level of connection with others, the level of emotional safety that gets generated, and the level of goodwill. This is why it is so important. Everybody, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, okay? So you can take it or leave it. But in my opinion, everybody, one of the things that you must master in life is being able to navigate your emotions well. To me, that is something that is essential that you master in life, right? Like that to me is the everything. Because when you can navigate your emotions well, it takes you everywhere and everywhere. So let's just break that down for a moment. I'm going to come back to this because this is to the question, but this is very important. You know, we tend to have a lot of excuses as to why we can't navigate our emotions well. You know, I wasn't treated well as a child, or I didn't have good role models, or life's hard, or whatever. And I don't mean to be dismissive of those things. I don't. Everybody's got their story and had stuff, myself included, right? And sometimes being human is just hard. It is, and painful and traumatic. I don't want to kind of dismiss anything like that. But it also cannot be a reason or an excuse for you not being able to navigate your emotions well, right? And when you become an adult, that can't be the fall guy anymore. It just can't, and it doesn't have to be. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be. Anybody can learn how to navigate their emotions well. Anybody can, because we are fundamentally the same as human beings in terms of how we operate. I know we see the world differently, but in terms of how we operate and how our emotions operate, how our reality is created. So it is possible for everybody to learn how to navigate their emotions well. Because when you navigate your emotions well, think about it. You become so much more proud of yourself, right? I don't know one single person, and we've all been there, where we've lost our temper, or we've said and done something that we don't mean, or we've escalated a situation, and when our minds have cooled down, we've looked back and go, oh, you know, I had that, what I call that adult Homer Simpson moment, and thought, why did I say that? I shouldn't have done that, and all of those things, right? So when you're navigating your emotions well, number one, the level of pride you have in yourself goes through the roof. It does. It's an amazing feeling. You have this sense of peace because you know that you've handled something to the best of your ability. And I'm not talking about being a perfect human being, right? But you have this capacity inside yourself. It gives you emotional, mental bandwidth. And we could all do with more emotional, mental bandwidth. People with emotional and mental bandwidth make really good decisions. They're more successful than others who don't. They are at a higher level of well-being. They have greater access to clarity of mind. They have greater access to insight. They are kinder. They're more compassionate. They have more capacity to put themselves in somebody else's shoes. They become more emotionally intelligent, and they become more relationally intelligent. Okay, they are often the people who will be picked for promotions and things like that, because you know, anybody who wants someone in a level of responsibility in their business, one of the first things they want is someone who can navigate their emotions well. Okay, you become a better parent when you navigate your emotions well. You have better relationships with your children. You become really good at letting things go, right? And not being burdened by the past and stuff that happened, and questioning yourself. The ripple effects of it are enormous. So it's good for your mental health. It's good for your emotional health. It's good for your bank balance, right? It's good for your well-being. It's good for your own level of self-love, self-worth, all of those things. So being able to navigate your emotions well is one of those things, in my opinion, that is a non-negotiable life skill that everybody should make a commitment to learn. Everybody. Okay? This is just one of those things, and there's no excuse not to be able to navigate your emotions well. All right? It probably sounds a little harsh. I don't mean it to. But I mean that based on the understanding that I have, the knowing that I have, right? Of how we work, I know it's possible for everybody. no matter what's happened in your past, and no matter what's happened last week. It is possible. No matter what your personality type, it's possible. Okay, but it's got to be something that you want. So I'm just putting this. Oh, thanks, Nathan. Nathan is one of my relatable students. I've got a few relatable students on the call here, Penny and Jane and Dan, but it's true. I'm going to read this out. One of my favorite things about relatable, emotional freedom is extremely delicious for myself and those around me. Ripples, waves, tidal waves. Yes, that's absolutely right. That's what it creates. It's just incredible, the ripple effect that happens when you have emotional freedom. Now, emotional freedom comes when you can navigate your emotions well. And a big part of that, coming back to this lady's question, is being able to get over yourself. Now, as someone who could not get over themselves, I was terrible at it. Absolutely shocking. And I despaired of ever being able to get over myself. Well, I did. I thought, I'm stuck like this. I'm this reactive person. I've got a really short fuse. I don't deal with stress well. That's me. And I had studied, you name it. It's not like for want of trying. I'd done numerous personal development programs, NLP, honestly, hypnosis, all sorts of things to be a calmer person. But it wasn't until I came across the understanding that I teach that it actually changed. And I mean sustainably changed. I've been around this understanding now for 15 years. And I'm not going to say I never get angry because that would be a lie. But my ability to navigate myself is light years away from where it was. And it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. So this is very important, and I love what she said, like being able to get over yourself. You do. And here's the thing about getting over yourself. You don't just do it once. You're doing it multiple times, and sometimes multiple times a day, right? You've got to get over yourself multiple times a day. And when you're dealing with teenagers, being able to get over yourself, that's a really great skill to have, let me tell you, because you need to do that a lot, right? A lot. Oh boy, a lot. I've got a 17-year-old daughter, and oh boy, did she press my buttons yesterday. First day back at school, because it's summer break here. So first day back at school, and she is in year 12. So year 12 is a big deal here in Australia. First day back at school for her final year, and year 12 is a big year, and she missed the bus. She wouldn't get up. Like it was terrible. So I really had to dig deep multiple times yesterday to get through that. So I understand, but having access to this is incredibly helpful for situations like that and for anything and everything in life. All right. So I want to acknowledge you for recognizing how important that is. Okay. So the thing I can still struggle with is overacting in the moment, especially if I feel that my husband's words are implying an underlying criticism of something I've done or haven't done. I find myself getting triggered or annoyed and can still overreact in the moment. Yeah, okay. I know my husband loves me as deeply as I love him. We've been together for 5 years and our relationship has become stronger than ever after the ups and downs of living together and then marrying nearly 2 years ago. I know that I'd be happier with myself if I didn't get cross and triggered in the moment, and I could stop myself before I've said something in an overactive, self-justifying way. Well, I've got to say, honestly, if you are someone who really, really wants to learn this stuff, just do relatable. This is what I teach. The answer is in relatable. Honestly, that's where it's at. You get access to all of the material, the live calls, the support of the community, getting your questions answered, and you've got time and space to really allow the understanding that I teach to deepen within you and to actually see your own growth over 12 months, because you get 12 months access to the material and you can attend the live calls over that time. So honestly, I cannot recommend this enough in terms of if this is something that is really important to you and something that you want to change, and I think it's something that should be important to us, right, is how do we deal with the fact that we get triggered and we overreact in a moment? And I'm not saying that you're not allowed to get angry or any of those things, but we all know when we've crossed a line, and we all know when we've probably justified something to ourselves and then escalated something, and we all know the ripple effect of that. It erodes goodwill, it erodes your own goodwill towards yourself. It impacts the level of connection that you have, emotional safety, and it just has ripple effects, right? So life is so much easier when we know how to get over ourselves and deal with those sorts of things. So, I can't emphasize this enough. If this is something that you really want to know, do, learn, this is what I teach in Relatable. It's all there, all of it. And, it helps anyone and everyone. The only prerequisite is that you need to be a human being. All right? That's it. Don't think it would help you if you were one of those robots that's being kind of lined up to hit the world right now, because you don't have emotional reactions, right? But yes, please, that is the answer, okay? I can't teach you the answer to that in a 30-minute live, right? The answer to that is woven in every single module of Relatable. Does that make sense? It's woven into every single module. It's like a drip, 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 right? It just drips out until you get to a point where you find that you're just not reacting the same way. In fact, you get to a point where reacting like that no longer makes sense. Okay. Now, when something doesn't make sense, it's easy to change. It's when something still makes sense that it becomes challenging. All right. Oh, look at all this support, you guys here. Nathan, yes, Relatable is phenomenal. It's life-changing. Oh, thank you, Jane. Relatable is the best thing anybody can do. It's been life-changing for me. Highly recommend anybody on the call today. Oh, thank you, guys. Oh, Giovanna, I agree. Relatable is life-changing. Oh, thank you, everyone. I so appreciate your kind words and your support. It really means a lot. There is a beautiful community. It's true. Giovanna just said there's a beautiful community of people on the calls. There really is. It's very special. I get touched so deeply with every single call that we have. I have no words for the people on the calls. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Diane. Diane, Relatable is awesome. I've learned to stay in my own lane. Yeah, that's a biggie, isn't it? Learning to stay in your own emotional lane. That's what I mean by that, staying in your own emotional lane. See, it's very hard. So I'll just say one thing for this lady who sent this question in. When you cross emotional lanes, it's very hard to regulate yourself. Very hard, because now you're caught up in what they did or didn't do, what they said or not said, whether you agree, don't agree, what you think. Like, you start carrying stuff that doesn't belong to you, and your bandwidth disappears, right? When your bandwidth disappears, your capacity to regulate yourself goes with it. All right. So there's a little nugget there around that. So yeah, that's a great comment, Diane. Yes. Learning to stay in your own lane. So freeing when you can stay in your own emotional lane. Oh, so freeing. So freeing. No one needs rescuing. No one needs fixing. Okay. Really, people don't. They don't. Worry is not a source of love, guys. Just letting you know. It's not. It's really not. I know it looks like it, but it's not. Overfunctioning isn't love either. You don't need to overfunction to get love. All right. You don't. Every time you overfunction, someone underfunctions. Just saying. And when you rescue someone, you get caught up in a drama cycle, and that doesn't help a relationship either. So it's like when you're navigating your emotions well, what happens is you become very comfortable in your own skin. Okay. When you're very comfortable in your own skin, what starts to happen from there, quite organically, naturally, and effortlessly, is there's nothing for you to hide or to defend or to justify anymore. Like, I'm so comfortable in my own skin now. Look, I'm not perfect. I'm not even trying to portray that. But if my husband was to come to me and say, I don't know, criticize me about something, I'm so comfortable in my own skin. I don't hear, my insecurities don't lead the way. Does that make sense? I'll hear that and I'll get curious instead. And that happens quite naturally, because number one, there's so much goodwill between my husband and I. I know that if he's criticizing me or giving me feedback, he's doing it because he loves me and it's for my greater good. Okay. And also, I know that just because someone sees something in a certain way does not mean that is an attack on me, right? And maybe there's something for me to learn, right? I love to learn. I love to have insights about myself. I appreciate it. Like, if you know what I mean, if someone comes to me and says, Fiona, you're being arrogant, or you're being too loud, or you're being whatever, I want to know. It's helpful to know, right? I can't change anything that I don't know. But that only comes when you're comfortable in your own skin. When you are not, you take things very personally, you become very defensive. You see things as an attack rather than an opportunity for you to learn something. All right. So there's a lot that you can change within you that ripples out and has an enormous effect on the people around you. Really, there is. There's a lot that you can change within you that ripples out and has an enormous effect on the people around you. So, and that is everything that Relatable is about. It teaches you that. It gives you the understanding and skills to be able to navigate you before you navigate life. And that's really the point, right? It's being able to navigate you first before you navigate life. Most people are just in reaction to what they see as coming at them, and they don't have the awareness or the understanding about the fact that where you are is affecting what's coming at you. Right? I'm not saying it's your fault, okay? No, don't take it that way, but it does have a big impact on what's coming at you. So with that being said, I hope that that's helped. If you guys like, I would like to show you. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I think I can do that through here. My finalized book cover. So just let me know. Would you guys like to see? Just hands up. Give me a heart or a whatever. Send me something to let me know. Would you like to see my finalized book cover that is being launched next month? I'm very, very excited. Hi, Alison. I'm a Relatable student. This program is life-changing. Another one. Oh, thank you, guys. Oh, you guys are awesome. Giovanna, yes, you want to see it. Giovanna, I did take on board you'll see some of your feedback is in that cover, Giovanna, that you sent through to me. Just so you know, I did pass it on. So let me see if you can see it in the cover. All right, I'm just going to bring it up for you guys. Just be patient with me. All right, here we go. Now I've just got to work out how to get that on the screen. Can I? How do I edit layout, new layout, cinema layout? Just going to work out how to share my screen. All right, sorry guys, just be patient with me. Hi, Peter. Media assets. No, how do I share my screen? Anyone know how to do that? Hang on. Edit layout. No, that's not it. All right. Oh, share a screen. To see how this layout. Oh. No, don't know. I don't know how to bring this on the screen. How annoying is that? That is so annoying. Oh, hang on. I'll go into. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Sorry, I've just worked it out. Woo, okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. Can everybody see that? Just let me know if you guys can see that. Just press the heart button on your screen or something, just so I know that you guys can actually see this, because I'm oh, the suspense. Will the heart make it next to the frog behind you? Oh, yes, at some point. So can you guys see it? Oh, you can see it. Awesome. Yeah. So this is now my book cover. So that, oh, thanks, Shavana. See, I lifted the heart a little bit higher above his head. You said put a bit more space there, which is great. And oh, thank you. So my book is called Funny Little Human. Transform the way you see yourself and the ones you love. And I'll just show you. I don't know if, yeah, I can. So this this is based on this heart that my artist friend, someone that I love dearly, who made this frog, did for me. So we took the heart out and put it above the human's head, and the heart's on the spine as well. So yeah, so really happy, really love it. Oh, thank you, Giovanna. Alison, can't wait to buy multiple copies for all friends and family members. Oh, you guys, you're so kind to me. Thank you. Oh, I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you guys love it. I'll put it up on my socials soon. Thanks, Carol. Thank you, everyone. I can't tell you how much that your comments really mean to me. It's so you, Fiona, very relatable. I hope so. For those of you who are wondering where the term funny little human came from, I say this a lot, don't I? To the relatable guys on the call, this has become a bit of a catch cry, because I think we can get ourselves, our human takes life very seriously and can get itself into a real pickle and get stuck and then overthink and twist itself in knots and all of those things. Oh, thanks, Dan. Thank you, Shavana and Nathan. Oh, thank you, everyone. I'm going to start crying. Really appreciate your comments. I really do, because this has, it's been a lot gone into this book, and I can't wait to share it with you. I've poured all my love and everything into this book, and I wanted to be simple and simple. Really, that was it. So if that's what you're getting from looking at it, I so appreciate that. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll be doing yes, how funny little humans are all over the place. They really are, and there's something so freeing, guys, when you relate to your humanness that way, rather than seeing it as this flawed thing that needs fixing and changing and rescuing, and there's something wrong with it. You can start to appreciate your imperfectly perfect, funny little human, and we all have one, right? I have one. We all have one, and that funny little human really can get itself down, like take itself down these exhausting emotional rabbit holes and make life very complicated and hard. And it's very innocent, but we all do it, right? And then we go down these very complicated loopholes to try and fix it, change it, and we just tend to exacerbate things. I promise you, life is not that complicated. There is a simple answer to everything, right? And that's exactly what I want to share with you in Funny Little Human. Oh, thank you. My heart is warm. I'm so glad you shared it with us. Oh, you're so welcome. Look at these beautiful comments you guys are making. Yes, our funny little humans all over the place. I agree. Simple and beautiful. That's relatable. Yep, it is. And thank you, Peter. It's beautiful to see you so genuinely happy, Fiona, and loving you. You are a truly remarkable little human being. Thank you, Peter. That's so, thank you, everyone. I so appreciate that. Sending you all so much love. Thank you, Peter. You've truly created ripples in the world. I hope so. The beautiful thing about ripples is ripples create more ripples, right? So what I'm interested in are your ripples, right? And that's what I love. Like, my relatable students come on the calls and they share these amazing ripples that just blow my mind and all of our minds on the calls. It's very special. So thank you, everyone. I will be here next Friday. So if you've got a question that you want me to answer, please send it to hello@fionalukeis.com.au. And if you want to have a chat with me and find out about Relatable, if you're curious about Relatable, you want to know a little bit about it, you're more than welcome to book a chat with me. I'll put the link in the I'll put a link here in the comments, and you're very welcome to do so. All right, because I'd love everyone to have the opportunity to find out more about Relatable. Until then, I'll give you the dates and the details about my book launch. One of my goals is to become a bestseller in the category with which I'm launching on Amazon, and I absolutely will need your help with that. So I'll be sending more details around about that as they come to light. But the next thing, hopefully the next time I'm live with you, I will have a physical copy in my hands, which will be very exciting. So thank you all so much for your kind words. I so appreciate it. Sending you all love, and I will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Ciao.